I was not live that whole time. Are you serious? Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, do you guys oh my god. Oh, do you guys hear me? So I was talking. So I was talking for the past 30 minutes to myself. Oh my god. No. Oh, this is what happens when you've never streamed before. Oh. I went through all those questions. Almost all of them without... Oh my goodness. Because I was just out doing these questions. I'm like, and like I'm reading the chat. I'm reading the chat, and you guys are having a conversation. And I'm like, oh, cool. I guess they're just talking, as I'm answering these questions, right? And I'm like reading them out loud, and it's like, oh, it's just such a newbie mistake. Yeah, okay. So I started the stream on OBS on the software. But there was a go live button I didn't press. Okay, we're here. Okay, finally. I'm 38 minutes late. Okay, so let's finally actually begin. Okay. All right, so I'll start from the top again. All right, hey Eric, these are your questions, right? Hip E Vanner, right? That's all right. So let's start with the first question. So, how did you know what components to get for your solar system? I still haven't gotten over how dumb that was. Hey everyone. Hey Saeed. Hey Krista. Oh, Kenzie, I think. Are you there, Kenzie? Oh, yes. Let me re-explain what's going on in the background and also the noise in the back. So I'm in my dad's cabinet shop. So I'm not in the garage. This is the office. So there's a bunch of just storage and random stuff. So excuse the messy background. And then you're gonna hear right now there's a table saw going off in the background. So please excuse that. So okay. Thanks for coming online. I mean, yeah, that was the plan. I just was a little late. Hello for Poland. Cool. Nice to see you. Hey Joshua from Bend, Oregon. Good to have you here. Okay. You can't hear the saw? Okay, that's good. It's a bit high pitched, so I don't know. I had a question about your solar. Does the flexible solar actually work? Yes, it works. It works really well. I don't think there's much of a compromise between flexible versus rigid in terms of output. The only issue I can think of is actually met someone that he actually came by to Santa Cruz and he showed me his solar setup, and he's able to pivot his panels to face the sun when the sun is low on the horizon, and so that is something that you can't do, because with a flexible panel you're probably gonna adhere the whole thing to the roof of your van. Is it a new van interior all around? If you're talking about this, no. This is an office at my cabinet shop. Hello from Serbia. Hi. Hello from Pittsburgh. Oh, Eric, you're in Pittsburgh? Cool. You might have mentioned that. I just in the email. Can you walk on the flexible solar panels? Yes, you can. Oh. Aloha, bro. Lunch on me. Hey. Oh, oh wait, I need to add the I have the, let's see. Please again excuse my very noob response to this whole thing. Okay, there you go. You can put that on the top right. Oh wait. Hey, thanks. Dewey, right? That's you, Dewey, right? Lightyear? Good to see you. Thanks for the 20. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with these questions. All right. So the first question from Eric is, how do you know which components to get for your solar system? So I learned how to build a solar system from YouTube videos. You know, I'd look up videos on like how to do it. So, and it's, you know, they teach you, all of them teach you basically the same thing. You know, you need the solar panels, you need the charge controller, and then you need a battery. Just those three things, and all of them hook up relatively easily. And next question is, where did you get them? I got most of those components from Amazon. I think my solar panels are Venergy, my charge controller is Venergy, and the battery, all of it is Venergy. And I think I got all of them from Amazon. You can get them from the website too, if you prefer that for some reason. And yeah, so that's where I got them. So the next question is, where did you get your electrical knowledge? Again, from YouTube videos. I would watch, even before I ever considered living in a van, I would just watch like educational content. Like I subscribe to a lot of educational channels, and so you know, I learned like, oh, what's electricity? Oh, it's a flow of electrons, you know, through something to do work, right? And so that's the fundamental of what electricity is, right? And now there's like, okay, there's things that are more specific about it. There's DC, there's AC. All this stuff is available online, and you can teach yourself this. And so that's the theory, like the like that's the theory side, like just knowing the physics of it. And then now there's like the engineering aspect, which is like the application, right? Like learning how, like, what type of wire size do you need, how to, like, you know, strip wires and all that stuff. That stuff I learned from my dad. You know, my dad would do like electrical work around the house. You know, like he would change out a light switch, install like overhead lights, you know, run wires through the attic. So a lot of this practical knowledge I got from my dad. And so, yeah, so the theory side online, practical from my dad. And those two combined were sufficient for me to design and build the electrical system on my own. I didn't get any help with my dad on the electrical system. Let's see. How much cost per month living in a tiny van? When you're in the city, I don't drive a lot because, you know, I live in the city. I park my van and try to drive my van as little as possible. And so gas is very little for me. Then there's food. Food is probably the most expensive. It's typically the most expensive because I don't have the best, like, I remember when I was living in San Francisco, I would not cook at all because I would never spend time in my van. I would park my van. I would then wake up in the morning, go to the gym, take a shower, Then I go back to my van, change, and then take public transportation to downtown San Francisco. And then I eventually started working in the Mission District. So I would take public transit, and I would never drive my car unless I needed to, like, I would drive my van the most when I would take trips down to Santa Cruz. And that's like an hour. I would take Highway 1, so it would take me an hour and a half. And that was the most driving I would ever do with my van. It was twice a month. I would go down to Santa Cruz, and so so I did have a little bit of a cost. Maybe I think I spent like $100 a month on gas, maybe less. I'm not sure. I get good gas mileage on that van. I get about like 30, and I can get up to 30. My record is 38. How do I get gas mileage that high on that van? I drive really slow. So slow to the point where I piss people off behind me sometimes. But that's how you get great gas mileage and save on gas money. Would you ever buy a motorcycle? Probably not. I don't know where I would even store it. I would have to like install a way to like tow or like hitch it to the back of the van. So something like a bike would be more practical for me. Yeah, 38. It's crazy. I actually took a picture of it and I sent it to a friend. It's insane. But you have to be driving like around 68 miles an hour. Excuse me, under 60. So like 58, 60 miles an hour. You have to drive ridiculously slow in order to get that good gas mileage. Do you explore national parks? Not recently. It's been a while. I mean, the last park I went to was Yosemite. I went there for Thanksgiving with my family. Last Thanksgiving. But I used to go like I traveled more in years ago. I haven't been traveling a lot in the past like 2-3 years. They used to come to Texas. The gas is way cheaper. Yes, probably. There's a lot of things that are cheaper outside of California. Do you stay in Cali only, or have you explored other states? Yeah, I mainly stay in Cali. I know the life, like van life, is appealing for most people because it's, they can adopt a nomadic lifestyle. But that's not the main reason why I live in a van. And mine is for cost, to avoid having to pay for rent in Santa Cruz. That was the main reason. Do you go camping? No, I only gone once camping with my NV200, and that was only because a friend invited me. So I don't go on camping trips on my own, but I might in the future. Would you come to Vancouver, BC? Yes, I am actually thinking of doing a road trip up to BC with my van. I want to make some videos of me stealth camping in Portland, Seattle, and then Vancouver. And I've been to all these cities before, but I want to do another road trip because I just love the Pacific Northwest. Okay. All right. So next question on this email is: do you guys hear the saw? It's going off right now. Again, I apologize if you guys can hear that. ICO 24 support. Do you have AC during warm summertime nights? No AC. I have no active cooling or heating in my van. Because the weather here in California is nice, especially along the coast. And so it's either blankets or less blankets. That's my options. Pro tip: do not park in North Vancouver. Park in East Vancouver because the hobos in North Van are dangerous. Okay, good. Thanks for the tip. I'll keep note of that. Okay. So next question that Eric asked is, did I answer where did you get your electrical knowledge? Oh, I think I did. Will you be starting a solar install service as perhaps a side hustle? So I could help out anyone that's has any questions. Like if you send me an email or a DM on Instagram or whatever, I'll answer. And if you need any like recommendations or like if you're curious about like how something works, electrical wise, I would answer it. If you want a van conversion, now that's going to be a little different. You know, like if you want me and my dad to build you out a van, my dad's availability recently has been very slim because he's been really busy with kitchens and baths, and so if he can manage to fit in a van, yes, and I will help with the design process. But if you want to, it's gonna be quite pricey because it's a lot of labor, but if you want to build your own van yourself and you just need knowledge and then you can just hit me up and I can help you out with all the information needed. Have you had problems with the police on the days you stayed in the city? Only once. It was in San Francisco, and I was parked on my usual spot, like my spot that I'd always keep my van, and I would never move it. But then a street sweeping day came, and I had to move it just around the block. And I got the cops that knocked on my van when I was sleeping. It was like in the morning. It wasn't like I was about to wake up. But then someone knocked on my door. I looked out the window. I peeked around my curtains, and I saw it was a cop. Then I rolled down my window, talked to him, and he said you can't camp here. You got to move. That's it. He told me to just move. That's it. No ticket, nothing. And so that's just the climate we're in. Because when you, I guess when you have someone sleeping in the vehicle, it's usually people assume it's out of desperation. And so from the perspective of the cops, they usually look at it as more of like a kind of like a social wellness approach as opposed to like someone committing a crime. And so yes, I only had an encounter with the cops once, and it was not unpleasant. It was they just told me to leave. What about an electric folding scooter instead of public transportation? It'll fit in your van. Yes, I've thought about that. But in terms of San Francisco, the Muni or the BART was more convenient because the distance was quite far. And I would argue that it's safer too, as opposed to like scootering on the streets for like, I don't know, like 20 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes. That would probably take the time it would take for me to get to downtown from where I parked. And there's actually, I could fit a scooter in my van. It's just not really convenient because I didn't make a dedicated spot to put that. I do wish I had a place to put a bike inside my van, although it would have taken a lot of space. It was something that I really, I guess that's my closest regret in terms of the conversion, not having a big enough space to like fit a bike. Although I could fit a folding bike. I've been looking at Bromptons. I don't know if you guys know what a Brompton bike is. It's a really nice British-based folding bike company, and the bike's really, really expensive. But they're really nice, and they fold so well. It's a tri-fold system as opposed to a bifold. So it folds like there's like three sections, one, two, three, and it folds like that. It's really interesting. Insurance will cover your equipment? No, it probably just cover my car insurance will cover just the cost of the car, not the stuff, the time and effort spent converting the van. All of that was just that's basically no value. It's I guess the only value would be the actual material costs, right? The wood, the equipment, but the labor. Oh my goodness, the labor. I spent 300 hours with my dad building out that van, and so that there's basically no book value for that labor, and that would essentially be worth nothing. Do you have a physical address to get all the useful things delivered by regular post? Yes, I use friend's address. I use Amazon Locker. That's like the best option if I'm ordering something on Amazon. And if it's not through Amazon, then a friend's address works. Okay, so I'm gonna do the next question here. When are you when you're not making YouTube videos, what do you like to do? So that is highly dependent on where I am. So this was very different during COVID when I was with my family and when I was back in Santa Cruz. So when I'm back home with my parents, I'm usually a hermit. I stay inside all the time. I never go out. I'm always in front of my computer, either watching YouTube videos or Twitch. I'm really big on video games. I don't play. I've played a lot in the past, but I play less now, and I mainly watch people play. So I'm a hermit. I'm just like in front of my computer all the time during my free time. When I'm in Santa Cruz, I usually have like at least 3 weekly things. Like every Wednesday, I go to like a young adults night, so at the church. So like it's a Bible study, and then on Thursdays I go to a movie night that a friend hosts, and then of course every Sunday, the Sunday service, I serve at that church I go to. And so I have at least 3 weeks where I'm like, like after, my work day is done, I have something to do and socialize. And so, if I don't have anything if I don't have friends or people to hang out with, after hours and I want to do something, I will take walks, through downtown and to the boardwalk. It's only like a 30-minute walk, and it's such a nice walk. I do that walk all the time. And that's probably my favorite thing to do. It's actually, I think there's a question here. It says, what is your favorite thing to do in Santa Cruz? My favorite thing to do is to take walks to the boardwalk. I love the summertime because it's when the boardwalk is just crowded, and I love crowds. I love being around other people. The energy is just really appealing. It's just like, I just go in there just to, people watch. I don't know how you describe it, but I just love walking through the boardwalk where there's people going on the rides. You can hear people screaming, enjoying the time. It's just that's all like really fun for me. It's just like soak all of that in. So that's my favorite thing to do in Santa Cruz. So I answered that. Why did you pick Santa Cruz to live as a van dweller? Oh, wait, let me see. Let me answer more questions in the chat. Bromptons are the best folding bikes in the world. You're probably right. They're the best that I've seen. What YouTubers do you watch? Oh man, I watch a lot. I watch. I just blew in the mic. Sorry, guys. it's transformed. I watch a lot of educational stuff, so like, like Smarter Every Day, Veritasium, like engine, what is it called? I'm trying to. He does like a lot of like videos on like aviation. Like there's aviation. Oh, film analysis. I love watching. It's funny because I don't really watch movies, but I love watching film analysis videos. And I think it helped me out with like, I guess developing like my filmmaking style is through watching film analysis. So they'll talk about like, oh, what made this film so great? Like it was the composition of the shot here. It holds this the camera still in this shot, but then it's like handheld and shaky, and that it's like that type of stuff. Like learning like film theory, I guess you can call it that. And so I watch YouTube channels that do that. I don't watch a whole lot of vlogs. I watch zero Vanlife channels. I do not watch Vanlife stuff at all, which is funny. Yeah, that's like is it N? I always forget what it's called. N. It's like that finance, like BC. I always forget that it's 4 letters. But it's like finance stuff, like like what, like the stocks and stuff like that. But they talk about like, oh, why Coca-Cola is doing so well during COVID or somebody like that. It's like random stuff about like why businesses are doing good, why they're doing bad. What's this new company that's coming up, right? It's that stuff. Like they're intended for investors and people in finance. But like I don't own any stocks. I don't care about owning stocks anytime soon. But it's fun to just learn about like new businesses and like, oh, why is this business doing well? Why is this business doing bad? That type of stuff fascinates me. I love. Let me see if I can. It just bugs me so much that I can never remember the name of that channel. Let me look it up real quick. Excuse me. I'm gonna look it up real quick. It is CNBC. Oh my goodness, I can never remember that. CNBC. And they do like, like for example, they did can the U.S. cement industry keep up with the $1 trillion infrastructure bill? It's just like, you got a little bit of politics in it, right? Because politics influences finance and businesses and all that stuff. And so all that stuff I really like. Anyway, sorry, that was a long-winded response to that question. Okay, how much do you spend in a van versus outside? I spend less on food because I live in a van because it's not as convenient to cook. Plus, I only have I started doing 1 meal a day. So I have one big meal, and it's in the middle. Like I usually have it like 1 p.m. And that keeps. It makes things simple. It's like I only have to worry about eating one day, right? And it's not like I can't eat a second meal. Like let's say I go out with friends and they want to eat, then I'll eat with them, right? But if I'm on my own and there's no, I don't have to cook for myself 2 or 3 times a day, right? It's having one meal it just makes things smoother, and so my food cost has gone down significantly recently. This is when I was in Santa Cruz earlier this year. And plus, I think I already explained that I don't move my car around a lot, so I don't have to pay a lot in gas. Hey Elizabeth. Sorry I'm late. It's all good. I was late, actually. I started the stream late because I thought I was streaming and I was talking to the camera for 38 minutes by myself. Is the aviation guide Peter? Oh, I do Peter Stripple. I do know that channel, but I'm not subscribed to him. I do know he makes like model airplanes and boats and all that stuff. Cool channel. No, it's engineering. It's not engineering explained. Engineering explained is the car one. I follow that channel too, but there's the one. It's like I think it's an Irish guy, and he does like a lot of his like thumbnails are like blueprints in the background, and it's like some like plane model. Anyways, I don't want to spend the time trying to look for the name of the channel right now. About how many calories do you consume in that one meal? You need to stay healthy. I don't worry, I consume enough calories. My maintenance calorie I know is like 1700, so that's how much I need. I probably don't eat that much. I have actually lost a lot of weight, but in a good way, not like starving myself. But and I've gotten used to having one meal a day. I don't feel hungry until like that one time a day, right? Like it's very easy for me to go just one meal a day now. It's hard in the beginning because, right, your body is so used to like eating in the morning or eating in the afternoon, eating in the evening. Your body builds that kind of the appetite clock is what I'll call it, right? And that appetite clock slowly starts to diminish as you force yourself to eat only one meal. For me, I'm personally never hungry in the morning, so it's really easy for me to pass on breakfast. And then I just push it further, right? I'll push it like, okay, I'll eat 3 hours after I wake up, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. And you build up that tolerance for like hunger. And this is my body personally. This is you have to figure out how that works for you, because you know, like everyone's appetite metabolism is different, but for me it's easy to maintain this like 24-hour meal, right? Just one meal a day. Will you end up traveling east at any point? Yes, but it will probably be further down the line. I do want to I'm starting to forget what I've answered and what I haven't, because of the whole like mix up this not starting the stream on time. But I do want to, oh yeah, I mentioned I mentioned I want to do a road trip up to Vancouver, BC. I don't know what route to take if I want to go east. Like do I want to go like further south, go through like New Mexico, Texas? I'm sure I can do that route and then like go on the north route, and I should probably, oh man, I don't know what the time frame. How long is a round country trip supposed to take, right? I don't know. You eat 3 to 4 times a day. Yeah, it's that's typical. I think that's how most people consume. They consume like I think the average is like a meal is consumed every like 2 or 3 hours. I think I think there was an average for Americans. It's not worldwide. Dr. Oz says that eating once per day is optimal way to eat. Yes. Because fasting is really good for your body, because your body is really well designed for fasting. And I've heard that the benefits of fasting typically happen from the 18 to 24 hour range. So that's so that you really get the full advantage of fasting if you just have one meal a day. Or take Route 66. Yeah, I took. Does that go through Texas? I think that goes to Texas, right? I used to live really close to, like, walking distance from Route 66 in Southern California. I used to live in Rancho Cucamonga, and there's a shopping plaza called, like, Victoria Gardens, and Route 66 is just under there. It's like Foothills Boulevard, I believe. And then Route 66 ends in Santa Monica Pier, or Santa Monica, like, city. How do you find not being able to stand if you're in the van for a long period and you're in the area that you need to be discreet and want to minimize going outside? Okay, so I do obviously I go out, right? Like when I was living in San Francisco in my van, I would I had to go out to go to the gym, right? Like I had to go out to then go take public transportation. Those are the times that I can't compromise. I have to leave my van, and I would work during the day, and then I would come back to the van at night. So I would never spend any. I'm not hanging out chilling in my van. It's not really a, it's a confined space. You guys seen the van. It's not a place to just chill out, right? I mean, I can. I've have done that, but most of the time I go out. So my van is literally just a sleeping pod. It's a mobile sleeping pod in storage. That's think of my van as that. In the north, it's freezing. You need much more insulation. In the great, yeah, I don't have any active cooling or heating, so it's gonna be tough. I'm gonna go in the summer. If I go north, I'm gonna go in the summer. I'm not going in the winter. What industry do I work in? I was doing like hospitality. So I was working on a startup that was doing events, social events. So the concept was like it was in like the startup phase. So we didn't have a physical space, like a permanent physical space. But the idea was to have a tea shop / coffee shop that people can come to. And there would be social events that happen in the space regularly, and so we were testing out the social event aspect. We were hosting events called Talk to Strangers Over Tea, and I was the host. I was one of the hosts, and I would host these events. We did like 3 events a week, so it was quite busy in terms of that. And so the best way to describe it is hospitality. Do you ever worry about your van getting broken into? Yes, all the time. But I'm far more relaxed because I park my van in San Francisco. Now, San Francisco is horrible. It's like probably the #1 like car break-in central of like the United States. It's like if you look up the statistics, it's insane. And so I remember looking at a heat map for all like the reported break-ins, and they're like near downtown, near like the really touristy areas, like near like Fisherman's Wharf or like Soma, Mission District. I would avoid all those places, and I would park near the Sunset. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to reveal the exact place that I parked, but that's a much safer part of the city, and so I worry less about car break-ins. But of course, I still worry. Do you enter and exit from the driver's side? Yeah, I don't. I never go through the sliding door. Like I remember in the video for my electrical video, I exited through the sliding door. I rarely do that. Hey, Crazy Joe. What tips do you have for being able to park in one spot for a long period of time? Why is this hard to answer? This is very straightforward. I remember before I even started living in the van, I would watch like guides. I remember I read like an article that was like, you need to drive your car early in the morning. Late at night. Pull into the spot late at night, and then leave early in the morning, right? No, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'm leaving my car put there, and I'm not moving it unless someone kicks me out, right? And so I tested my luck. And gladly there's I didn't get any trouble. Like no one, other than that one time that the cops knocked on my van, I was fine on my main spot. The only time I got knocked on by the cops was when I parked on a spot that I didn't usually park. So usually if you park your car overnight, first night, if you make it out, leave it there like during the day, you're probably gonna be fine. If you don't have a note, that is. But if someone leaves a note, like a neighbor or like a business owner or something, then yeah, that's not a spot. They probably suspect that you're in the van. So I would say don't be afraid to take a risk and park in a spot that you really like. The worst that can happen is just have the cops calling you, and they will just shoo you away. That's it. You're not going to get a ticket. So I guess my tip is push your luck, because you are not going to know what your limits are unless you push them. Do I park in residential areas? Yes, because it's just I park. It's you got to be strategic in a residential area. You don't want to park right in front of someone's like front door. You want to park like maybe like where it's like next to a park or next to like a school, or maybe not a school. That might be a little sus. To have like a van. If you have a van and you're always like outside of school. But usually parks are a good thing because you're not directly in front of someone's house. Another thing is, if you want to park in front of someone's house, have some sort of barrier, like maybe like a tree, maybe like a bush. That gives more of a sense of security for like the homeowner. So there's this like, oh, there's like another thing is parking on busy streets. Now I don't mind parking on busy streets with this traffic noise when I'm sleeping because I sleep through anything. I don't care. I can sleep next to a highway. I don't care. And so that is to my advantage. That means that I can park on a busy street. So there's a lot of, maybe traffic going on, and a lot of noise. And if it's a residential area, that means like that the homeowners in that area are more tolerant of busy environments or like changing environments because it's busier. So you're more likely to get away with, having your vehicle parked, and you camping there. Hopefully all that makes sense. What story are you preparing for the next video? I am doing my next video is stealth camping in LA. I am gonna be, so I'm in, right now I'm inland. I'm like in like Riverside, San Bernardino area. I go across the two counties regularly. And then I am gonna go to LA this weekend. I'm gonna film my next video, which is stealth camping in LA. If you're in Seattle, look me up, man. You seem like a cool dude. Thanks, Crazy Joe. What kind of van are you in for the live stream? Okay, yeah. Obviously, I'm not in my van. I'm at my dad's cabinet shop. I'm visiting my parents. I've been with my parents for the past week, and so I don't know if you guys can hear it. Again, there's like a table saw like going off in like the beyond this wall. So you guys might hear that. So this is the shop that we actually built the Sprinter. And I know I get this question a lot, like what happened to the Sprinter? Oh, like because I uploaded that video first, the Sprinter on my YouTube channel, but I built that during COVID. The NV200 was something I built in 2018. So that was the first van, was the small van. And then we built the bigger van. So in this shop, that's where we built the Sprinter. If you're such a heavy sleeper, do you ever worry you don't wake up if there's danger outside your van? Yeah. That has been a thought. But my best defense to that is just don't park in like bad parts of the city, right? So that's honestly the best thing I can do. What kind of MPG does your dad get with his van? He doesn't drive that van. That's not his. We don't use that van at all, actually. Because we built that Sprinter with the intention of selling it, and we still have it. We're still trying to look for a buyer. What kind of MPG? Oh yeah, so that's that question. Hey Evan, MJ. Hey NJ. Yeah. We exchanged emails. I remember. You and your dad built a great van. Thank you. Ever in the San Jose area or Bay Area, reach out. I too am looking for friends. I am new to this area from Texas. Hey, I visit friends in Santa Clara all the time. So just shoot me a DM on like Instagram or send me an email, storiesfromavan@gmail.com, and let's get in touch. Have you ever considered getting a dog to join your adventures? No, I think that would be quite difficult to have a pet. I thought of smaller animals. I thought of fish. I thought of a bird, cat. But I don't know. I think my van is just way too small for pets. Aaron, hey man, I dig your videos. Living the life. Thanks, man. Do you still have the spinner? Yes, we do, Tony. We do still have the van. Adele, how much are you guys asking for the van? A lot. It's not cheap. We're asking for basically 150,000, which is, I know it's a lot of money. And the one of the challenges that we've been getting about selling this van is that not a lot of people have that much money lying around, right? And so we've had people that are interested in the van, but the issue is that a lot of people need to finance the van. And there's not a lot of financing options for us because this was a privately built spinner. It has no book value. It was not built by like a Winnebago or like, you know, Rebel, right? There's no book value, right? And so when you try to finance, there's nothing to reference how much value the van is. We established the value of the van, and the buyer, we had someone that was very interested. He drove out. He even spent to get an inspection to get the van. So he was very interested, but there was no way for him to get a financing done for the van. And so, in retrospect, like I've actually talked to some people, and there's actually some other options. You can take out a personal loan, which is not attached to the value of the van. That's the option to take. So, yeah, 150,000. It's a lot of money. I know. You're in Pittsburgh. Oh, Pittsburgh. It's not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Pittsburgh, like Oregon. Oh wait, no, Pittsburgh, California. Because you said 1 hour. There's no way that can be in Oregon. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Is that like East Bay, like East, like Central Valley, sort of, like near what's the name of that city? Not Turlock. Anyway, I see. First, I was thinking East Coast. I could get a parrot. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, a bird. I don't. That'd be funny. I thought of a cat. You know, like putting some sort of door on the bottom of the car so they can actually go in and out from the bottom. That would just be very interesting. How much are we asking for the Mercedes Spinner? 150,000. It's a lot of money. It's the average cost of a house in the United States. 150,000. Someone in SF could easily afford that. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Concord one. Okay, got it. What's some good beaches in Santa Cruz? Oh, Cocorin Beach, which is, I think they call it 23 Beach. I think that's what locals call it. Black's Beach. So I'll type them out. Black's Beach. And Moran Lake Beach. So those are all good beaches in Santa Cruz. I got it. That's a chunk. It's just like being. Is the van on Craigslist or Facebook? No, the van is on RV Trader. So, here I'll post the link for the van, for the spinner that's for sale. And then you can see all the pictures. Right there. That's the link for the spinner. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to these questions. So next question is, why did you pick Santa Cruz to live as a van dweller? So I made a video called "Why I Lived in a Van in San Francisco," and I talked about essentially why I chose to live in a van. and specifically Santa Cruz. So if you watch that video, that will answer that question very well. So next question. Care to share some spots in or around Santa Cruz that us out-of-towners could use to sleep for the night? Yes. So I'm most familiar with camping my van in west side of Santa Cruz, and it depends on how stealthy your van is. If your van is not as stealthy, like an RV or like a truck with a camper, so like obviously like you look at it and you people obviously know that you're camping in it. You want to actually camp outside. Just outside Santa Cruz is a small like oceanside town called Davenport, just like 10 minutes north of Santa Cruz, up the 1 highway, and there's like dirt lots very close to Davenport, and there's one that's actually across the street from like all like the restaurants and the houses, and I see RVs there all the time, so there's obviously no problem there. So you can try there. There used to be a street along natural bridges where there used to be RVs and the occasional sprinter, but they blocked off that street during COVID. I used to park there actually, but that spot is there no more. What do you really miss in your van in comparison with a house? What do you really miss in your van in comparison with your house? Like, as in, like, I miss. Well, I'm trying to like figure out which way around are you saying? You really miss your van in comparison. Oh, I don't think. Did I mention thanks to Lightyear or Dewey for the $20 donation earlier? That was. I can't remember because I started the stream late, so I can't keep track of what I've if you guys actually saw that on stream. Anyway, so if you're saying like, I'm just gonna say pros and cons between living in a van versus house. Obviously, there's like so many benefits to living in a van, right? Like it's like I can be anywhere I want. I can be in Santa Cruz for like a couple months. Then I come back down to see my parents. Maybe they need some help with some stuff. I don't have to move anything. I don't have to move out. I don't have to worry about a lease, get subletters. I don't have to worry about housemates, roommates, right? Because that's ultimately what my van was for. It's to replace an apartment, right? It's a mobile sleeping pod. Right, and so it's honestly even better than an apartment in my opinion. I honestly would never get an apartment in Santa Cruz if I had the option to. Just never, right? Even if you give me an apartment for free, I would probably it would still be a challenge for me to decide with the apartment over the van, seriously, and so. It's just really convenient. And in the house, obviously, you got comforts of like, you got like a sink with unlimited running water. You can shower regularly. But for some reason, I just don't. It's just not like it's not as it's more. What do you call it? It's more fun. It's more like just being in a van and just being out, being independent, right? It's like that lifestyle. It's just more. It's more exciting than being at home, right? Because it's kind of dull just being at home all the time and having a place, right? It's just like different lifestyle, And I enjoy that van life lifestyle way more. Speculators think people are going to live and concentrate in the cities in the future, but I think people are going to live on wheels. Many people are doing, and thanks you to more and more. Yeah. I don't think this lifestyle, like being on wheels all the time, is for everyone. It's definitely like very appealing. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm clipping the mic regularly, so I'm sorry. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see if there's a huge portion of the population that goes like mobile and in like vans or like RVs. I suspect it's not. It's still gonna always be a small portion of the population, but we'll see. Your parents are a great support for you. How did your mom and dad welcome the idea? Great to see you live. Hey, um, Trisha. Um, yeah. Well, if you remember, I did a video on this, so like why I lived in a van, and I was in a rough spot mentally, right? And so, I think my parents were willing to do something that they otherwise wouldn't really do if it was during normal circumstances, and plus it was, I don't know, it's how we looked at it at the time, but like it ended up being quite the privilege to even build out the van and live in it, because it's like I learned so much from doing it. It's given me so many opportunities. It's honestly it's great. I love the fact that I'm so thankful for my parents like supporting me and helping me out. Like I kind of took for granted the amount of support that they gave me. It's not until like I saw all the comments and people saying like, like your parents gave you their blessings. They helped you build your van. And it's funny because right, like it's obviously there was a lot of effort and for them to put into helping me get this van, right? And for me, it was something that I almost took for granted, right? Which is right, something to for me to really think about, right? And not to realize that it's something to be taken for granted. Mm, can I hire you to work on my conversion, SoCal? Yeah, just shoot me an email. It's we got to figure out a layout, right? A plan, right? Plan. So email me at stories from a van at Gmail. I think that's my email. Yep, and or DM me on Instagram, and hopefully we can figure something out. How do you heat your water for showers? I don't. Uh, um, which is why I've gotten used to cold showers. I actually like cold showers now because I've gotten used to it. Um, and when I came back home, actually last like just a week ago, the hot water heater from my house was broken, and I actually didn't mind it. It's really hot too. It's like 90 degrees here in like the Inland Empire. Um, and so it's I really don't mind I really don't mind having to shower with cold water. All right, so let me move on to the next question here. Tell us about the van community in Santa Cruz. So I wouldn't say there's much of a van community in Santa Cruz. I only know of one other person that actually lived in a van. Um, he grew up in the area, and he had like either like a Transit Connect or a ProMaster. Um, and it wasn't converted. It was just an empty shell. Literally, no installation, just bare metal walls, and he was sleeping out of that to save on rent, and so he was really the only other person that actually lived in the van full time in the area. So I wouldn't say there's much of a community. Now, I am so if you guys haven't heard, I'm doing a meetup. My first meetup it's September 16th. It's a Thursday. It's gonna be at Levity Vans, right? And it's gonna be a monthly event every third Thursday, right? And they started this event because they wanted to start building a van community in Santa Cruz. So and they're welcoming me to invite me and my and you guys, right? People I invite through the YouTube channel, and so if there is a van community, it's probably very small, and I'm hoping to change that and ultimately build a bigger van community in Santa Cruz. Um, Eric, hippie vanner, your Sprinter is stunning. I also think you should also post on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Honestly, that's we've thought about Craigslist, but Craigslist is kind of iffy. Facebook Marketplace, that might be something I might consider. We have not thought about that. Thanks for the suggestion. I should probably write that down so I don't forget. Ooh, 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 ooh. So Facebook. Um, Fan, thank you. Okay. You're in the Indian Empire visiting now. I have family out there. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm in. My dad's shop is in Redlands. In yep. So I went to high school in Redlands actually. Um, Keep up the faith. Your origin story was insightful. Thank you. Thank you, Poker Paparazzi. Just watched a few of your videos and saw you alive. I just want to say that I've seen thousands of van designs over the year, and yours is by far the most creative and ingenious. Thank you, Cian. Um, Thank you. Here in Saeed says here in Spain we got news from LA that there are many people living in their cars and vans because of crisis issues. Services? I'm not. Is that a what? Is that a thing? I'm not familiar with that. Quite. Okay, so I don't know what you mean by crisis issues. There is a homeless epidemic. There's a lot of people. If you go like Skid Row, it's awful, right? In compared to recent like a decade ago, I think COVID just made everything worse. There was a street. So there was a street in San Francisco that used to have a lot, like not a lot, but like a handful of vans, and I knew that that was a sign that okay, that's cool. There's obviously RVs parked in this street, then that means I can probably park my small van. This was in 2019. I left San Francisco before COVID. I'm just gonna switch to a full face cam now. So. And when I came back to San Francisco to visit during after almost a year into COVID, my God, that street that I used to park and I would have no trouble finding a parking spot. It is cramped, packed with RVs, and so COVID definitely made things a lot worse. Yeah, housing shortage. Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah, yeah. Due to the economic crisis and um, what do you do when your van has motor problems? Well, it hasn't. It's very low mileage. We bought it new. Right now it only has 18,000 miles. My Nissan NV200 to clarify, um, and it has a great warranty. It has like 5 year, 100,000 mile warranty. So it's I don't have to worry about the that for a while. Do you think that COVID has been easier to you because you live in a van? Well, I spent the year of COVID not in my van. I was actually with my family when COVID hit, and so um, and it was COVID that kind of delayed. Like I wanted to go back to Santa Cruz um, in January 2020, but then I stayed longer because we started working on the Sprinter, and then COVID hit, and that extended my away from Santa Cruz for much longer. And I thought it would be hard because of gyms, right? I wouldn't be able to shower, but I found my solution with like I shampoo my hair in my little sink, and I do wet wipes are really helpful. So gyms being closed or like having like closing in because they reopen close so many cycles, it's really annoying. So excuse me. um that being independent from gyms and having to be dependent on showers at the gyms has been really important. Do you have a backup like generator or backup yeah, no, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but no, I don't really have like a generator. I don't have a backup generator. Jennifer Wise, are you in a storeroom or garage right now? I'm at my dad's cabinet shop, so please excuse the mess in the background. Um, Maish, you seem like a smart and knowledgeable person. Would you think going vegan is a sustainable form of life? It's really interesting because I met someone recently that was vegan for 30 years. So, long time. And he said that he started experiencing long-term health effects from being vegan for so long. And so, and he's not the first person I've heard this. I've heard of people that've had problems with being vegan for decades. And the problems don't show up until decades. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I feel like burping all the time. Sorry. Okay. So to answer your question, so the thing is, a vegan diet is absolutely better than the standard American diet. There's a lot of things better than the standard American diet. And so I would say, is it sustainable? It's hard. It's really hard to say because in some ways, like, like, is it sustainable environmentally? Because I used to think it was. But now, I watched a video recently that talked about how there's actually the environmental impacts of animal products, like eating meat, dairy, eggs, is not as high as previously thought. Like I remember watching like Cowspiracy. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. That documentary before, but it makes it like seem like, oh, like factory farming, beef contributes more to carbon emissions than transportation, right? That's a huge claim, right? And the documentary is very convincing, and I thought, and I was convinced from the documentary, and so, but then I watched this video recently that was saying that this is all BS. There's like, it's a closed loop. Yes, cows emit methane. Yes, there's things that like contribute to like, oh, feeding the cows, like crops, right? Like we're growing food to feed the cows, right? But that's actually not the case. We feed crop byproducts, right? Like for example, corn. We grow a lot of corn, right? And there's like corn husk that we peel off. There's the stalk. There's like, we don't eat that. We have to throw that away. Or we can feed it to the animals, right? And so, in other words, it's actually efficient because instead of having to throw away food and have it rot in the fields, and that becomes methane or like CO2, because when biomass, when like rots, it either goes into the soil or emits CO2 or some sort of what's the term? These greenhouse gases, right? So, it's interesting, right? It's a different perspective, right? And it's a closed loop. Like the cows, essentially, in order to grow the cow, literally the cow came from nothing. There was nothing, then there's a cow. Where did that cow come from? Well, it has carbon trapped in the meat, unique carbon. So essentially, you have carbon that it goes, you have CO2 in the air that gets transferred into a plant to make the leaves, make the corn, right? And then it's then fed to a cow, and then we consume. It's a closed loop. There's no excess carbon that's going into the environment. So that makes a lot of sense compared to like fossil fuels, where you're extracting carbon from the ground that's been locked away for millions of years. Yeah, you're putting extra carbon that hasn't been in the atmosphere for a long time. So but then when it comes to animals, it's a closed loop. There's no net gain over a long period of time. Anyway, I rambled on for way too long about now if you talk about ethics, like you hate how animals being treated. Okay, that hasn't changed, right? Animals are still being treated awfully. In that case, then yeah, it's that I would say is one of the reasons you would go vegan. But in terms of health and environment, which are two big reasons why some people go vegan, then I feel like that argument is still debatable. Anyway, okay, let's go back to van related stuff. Yeah, stay away from less processed food. Yes, it's that is a good advice. Man, what is going on? I'm like burping a lot. Yeah, exactly. Net emissions. Okay, next question. I'm gonna go back to this. Um, what is the meaning of life? Um, so I would say that there's two schools of thought. So how do you derive meaning, right? So there's one, I forgot the term for it, but there's one perspective on meaning of life being given, defined through a divine being, so a god, typically religions. This is how people that adhere to a religion derive meaning. It's through a force outside of them. The other school of thought is, I believe, existentialism, which means self-derived, meaning it's a more humanistic perspective, meaning that you can derive your own meaning yourself. You don't need you could be agnostic, you could be atheist, and hold existential opinions. But I think I fall more into the category of being an existentialist and seeking meaning through something I've found myself. And so, what is that meaning? Well, I'm still defining it. I'm still figuring that out. I have a loose idea. I think it has something to do with people and community and the relationships I form through that, because I seek, like, ultimately why I built up the van, why I started living in the van, is because I was seeking stability in my social life, right? It's like I didn't have any community anymore, like when I moved away from Santa Cruz, and I was just so desperate to go back to that. And so I think part of my meaning, and you can almost define the meaning in your life as your spirituality. So, like, what is spirituality? It has nothing to do with religion, right? Spirituality is basically, what is your purpose in life? Why do you live? Why are you in this world? Why are you on this earth? And what is your purpose, right? And for me, it's a share experiences with others. It's to, at least this is what I think, right? This is subject to change, and of course I'm always open-minded to changing what I see, and again, it's still developing. And so I would say you would have to decide your own, whether you want that meaning in your life to be derived on your own, yourself, or through a force outside of yourself, like a god or a divine being. So hopefully that answers that question. And just to clarify, hippie Evander, this is you, Eric, right? This Eric Adam, this is your questions, right? You okay, man? I don't know, man. I don't know why I'm like constantly like burping. It's not even burping. I don't know. It's like I didn't eat anything different, or like maybe it's from all the talking. I don't know. Yes. Okay. I wanted to make sure. Okay. What do you think about electric vans? I think they're great. I wish there were electric vans here in the States, but they're not. Yeah, they're only in like Asia and Europe. But now, like, you know, like the Ford is coming up with the electric F-150, which is cool. Yeah, it's like reflex. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And it's like, it's not. It's actually not burping. It's like something like wants to come out of my throat, but not. It's like, I don't know. Sorry, just bear with me. Is the smoke bad where you are? Maybe you have a bit of good. Is there a fire nearby? I don't know of any fires. Like, there's a fire up north, like near like Tahoe. I think it's called the River Fire. That's the only fire I know of in California this fire season. But no. Maybe that explains why why it's kind of cloudy outside. Actually, but I don't think it's bad. I don't smell the smoke or see the ash. There has been a fire that's been really close to us. You can actually see the plume of smoke outside the doors of the shop. We've had a fire that close, and we'd see the ash falling down. But anyway, oh good. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I've never had this where it's like this frequent. Pepsid? Is that, I don't know what that is. Is that like over the counter medicine? Like Pepto-Bismol or something? A lot of Western U.S. fires are intentionally set. I don't know. I think the biggest fire from like last year or the year before that was caused by electrical lines by PG&E. Yes, there are some. The one that I talked about that we saw from here from the shop was caused by a gender reveal party. Someone set off fireworks, and the fireworks set off the fire. Okay. All right. Next question. All right. What does success mean to you, and how did you achieve it? Depends on how you define success, right? Yeah. So what does success mean to me? I just know that I'm following a trajectory. All right, have a good night, Saeed. It's 1 a.m. in Spain. Yeah, that's pretty late. Have a good night. But for me, it's a journey, right? It's you know, I'm sure you've heard that before. But I knew like the attitude I had when I dropped out of college was, you know, to just do radical things. Like I started doing street art when I dropped out of college. I had never done anything like that before. Oh, oh God, I don't know what's going on with me. So I started doing street art, which was something like radical. Like I didn't know how to draw. I didn't know how to like do anything like that. But I just recently learned how to like use Illustrator because of a game design class I took at school. And so I took that knowledge and I was able to create stencils because of that. And from there I was able to like, you know, like the idea of like going out and in the middle of the night and putting up some artwork that I made was like thrilling. And that carried on that mentality of like doing radical things and coming up with projects because it was an investment, right? I was planning like, how am I going to do this art? Okay, what am I brainstorming? Like, you know, I there's always a creative component, I believe, to like a lot of these projects I do. And it's maybe you ate gassy food. No, I ate the same thing I ate from yesterday, and I did not get this. And I didn't drink any like carbonated beverage. So I don't know. Physical form of stage fright. I was nervous earlier, but not anymore. I guess I'm pretty relaxed now. Speaking to a screen. Hey, I mean, you guys are real people, right? So there's an audience behind the screen in a very abstract way. Oh my goodness. Okay, so like, how do I define success? I think I found little successes with all those projects, right? I found success. I was able to put up art, right? Like that in of itself was success, and it was self-defined success, right? And it was, I was set little goals, and that I was able to accomplish. And when I fast forward to when I this was like way before like the van, right? So then I don't. Oh, this is hard. This is hard to continue on and just have these like reflex. It's again, sorry. So when I started living in, or excuse me, building the van, right? It's like that was the goals that I set, and I wanted to. I guess for me, it's maybe I'm overthinking this question. I would say just set like projects to work on. This YouTube channel was one of my personal projects that I planned for several months before I even launched it. Right? Even before I started my grand vision, like my big video that I was gonna do was that video where I'll tell my story of why I started living in a van. The opening scene where I'm sleeping in my sleeping bag in my van, and my cell phone goes off with the alarm, right? And then it cuts to the outside of the van as like an establishing shot. Like I had that envisioned in my mind months before I even started filming that video. And so I what I like to do is plan out a lot of these projects, right? And all these projects have like, a very big creative component to it, right? Where like I have a lot of creative freedom, and it gives me so much things to like think of, and I have like a photography background. I never did video, and so it was a challenge to kind of like transition to video and like do audio. I never did audio stuff before, and so it's, yeah, exactly, it's s'mores, what it's Atomic Habits. Oh, Atomic Habits, small achievable goals. Yeah, exactly, right? It's goals that you work towards. And I don't think I like setting big goals, right? I wasn't gonna set like, oh, I want to get 1 million subscribers in a year or something like that. It's like, because I had no idea what to expect. All I knew was that I'm gonna upload this video, I'm gonna try my best, and I'm gonna use all my skill and all my knowledge that I had to work together in unison to create that video. Right? It was my photography background. It was about my van. It was about my story. Like I have to write out. Believe it or not, I wrote out script. Right? I scripted the whole thing out in when I tell my story. In it took like only 3 takes, so it was which is, now I've learned that that's a lot. It's very efficient to be able to do something under 3 takes, because all my other future like videos after that take way longer. And I talked for 11 minutes straight in that one section when I sit down and like there's like leads and I tell my whole story, right? In 3 takes I talked for 11 minutes straight. And yes, it's scripted, but like I was able to yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from the heart, quote unquote. It's my story, so it was easy to remember the script. Okay, as long as you guys can bear my reflexes, I will continue on. Yeah, I would say set small goals to achieve. Don't focus on long-term goals. And yeah. So that's it for that question. Next question is, let me see. Stony Vinston. Whenever I am too ambitious, I do not finish projects. It works best when I start and iterate. Yes. It's for me, ambition does not slow me down. The more ambitious, the better, actually, for me. That's what I found. And so you will find your own style of motivation that works for you. In case, for me, I think I'm more of like a big visionary. Like I love picturing what the big picture, like what am I going to do, all the moving pieces, right? It's very fun for me to like plan all that stuff out, right? And so maybe for you, and you might find that like if you think too big, you might end up just not doing anything because it gets overwhelming. There's so many things to do, right? In that case, think of the little things, right? Just do one thing, right? And so you have to figure out what your style of motivation is. Yes. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Eric. Um, You can storyboard it so that you can be less shooting and you can make it easier for you in editing. Yep, I storyboard everything. I essentially have a screenplay, shot for shot. I have a shot list. I have um, maybe I can show it. I can show it on I can show my screenplay, for example, for one of my videos. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, so how do I do this? Window capture. We want to do. Okay. Do you guys see this? Do you guys see my script? Actually, we're getting checklists and check them off one by one. Yep. Would love to figure out how to hide a mountain bike in a van the size you have. It's possible. There's a what is it like there's that YouTuber. He sent me it's like Foresty Forest or something like that. He has a place to put a bike in, but anyways, okay, you guys see the script? Awesome. So yeah, I have B-roll, so I have like so I know like what to film. Like I want just a shot of like, oh, I want a close-up of the fan, the USB, the lights, and here's the screenplay. So I say like, oh, third person shot of me, like, oh, I'm kneeling down next to the electrical system. Hey, and I say, oh, hey, my name's Evan from Stories from a Van, right? And this, the color code is like the scene. So this is one shot. So there's no break. And this is like a detail. And then I say like third person, insert a wide shot of the van. So that would be like to get context of like what I'm kneeling next to and when I have. And so I script all this out, and all these are just like transitions and things to do. Right? I say like stand up, cut midway through, and cut midway through standing. Right? And I plan the shots in my head. So, anyways, you get that. You guys get the idea. Oh, man. I'm burping up a storm here. Forrester has a huge camper? Oh, really? I thought he had the little one. Is he the Canadian? Or am I thinking about someone else? Oh, he went, yeah, the minivan. He had the minivan. Did the guys that visited you from LA give you a tour of their vans? Yes. Two of them came up. They had they both had Dodge ProMasters that they converted. And that was really cool. There was I had the Instagram post of two of them. They're the two guys standing. Huh. Oh man. All right. Need help with my Class B van. Is this something you can help me out? I'm in Bay Area. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be difficult for me to like come over and like help because it's do you have the tools? Do you have it's really hard to do it without a proper facility. It's possible. I've heard of people that go out to like Home Depot and they either rent the tools or buy the tools and work in the parking lot. It's totally possible. It's doable, and they won't kick you out because like you're buying the stuff, right? And so it's definitely more challenging than like a proper workshop. But if you have any question, I'm down to do a video call to answer any of your questions. And like, how do I use this tool? How should I do this? How should I do that? Just hit me up. Just send me a DM on Instagram or it's email is the best. So storiesfromavan@gmail. That's the best way to contact me. So, okay. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next question on this picture right here. You spent a lot of time around Christians. So why didn't you become one? Well, there's, I would say, primarily two reasons. One is stubbornness. Two is a philosophical issue I have. A definition of a Christian is you have to believe that Christ died for your sins on the cross and resurrected. That is it. As long as you believe that, you're a Christian. And you'll achieve salvation once you pass. So that's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. And so, one, is it possible for me to believe in that? Maybe. Then there's like the philosophical questions of like, okay, why did God create the world, right? Why do we exist? It's like, is it more believable that the world was created out of nothing, or there was an ultimate designer? Is it, and maybe me asking these questions is maybe more of a distraction, because I also personally feel like I'm stubborn. I just don't want to change my way of life. I already have a mental model of how the world works, and I don't want to change it. And it's it just seems easier just to maintain the status quo, right? In that sense. And I accept the possibility of potentially becoming Christian. I still want to be open-minded, but there's always that level of stubbornness that's in the way. So, and I have no conflicts going to a church every Sunday and even helping out. I volunteer there. I've been getting back into the routine of volunteering every Sunday. And so that is not in conflict. The people, the people are amazing. They're great. They're lovely people. I get along with almost everyone that's there. Everyone, it's everyone's friendly. I have not had any conflicts at all with the people there. And at first, like, you had people that kind of push, like, I tell them they're not Christian, but they push a little more than they should. But it's not their fault, because I've learned to understand why they essentially want me to believe. It's because it's from their perspective, it's the only way to be saved. It's there's a great analogy where I believe it was like the Penn and Teller is the taller gentleman. I forgot whether that's Penn or Teller, but he's an atheist. He's open about being atheist, and he made a really great analogy as an atheist. That even as an atheist, he still appreciates when someone, because there was one time that after one of his shows, You know, this is a story that my pastor told me, you know, like about Penn and Teller. I think it's Penn. But like, let's say after the show, there's a guy that goes up on stage and hands Penn a Bible. And Penn happily accepts it. And the people that see that and know that Penn is an atheist wonder, oh, I wonder what Penn is thinking, right? He's an atheist, and this guy is giving him a Bible. He must think the guy's an idiot for giving him a Bible, right? But Penn has a different perspective. He uses the analogy of if someone was standing in the middle of the road and there was an oncoming bus, if that bus is hell and that person is unaware that that bus is about to hit them, and you're standing on the side of the road and you see that bus, meaning you're aware of the incoming danger, you must be evil to not do anything to try to push them out of the way. Right? Because that's essentially their perspective. For Christians to see other people that have not found Christ, you're a person standing in the way of the oncoming bus. And so that is a very humbling perspective that gives an appreciation for people that do want to proselytize and to share the word of God, because they do it out of love and compassion, not out of, yes, there are people that do it out of, I think you're wrong and I'm right because I believe in the Bible. No, yes, that there are people like that, but the majority of people that truly believe in the Bible and believe in the teachings do it out of love and compassion for others. And so with that in mind, it means that I can really be around Christians and not be in conflict, because every sort of when they say they want to pray for me, sure, I thank you, I appreciate it, right? It's out of love. So anyway, it's hopefully that answers that question. You don't have to answer all the questions if you don't want to. No, I'd love to. Although so far I've been answering all these questions from you, Eric. So I think I'm going to move on to another person's question. I'm actually going to answer some questions from Twitter. So, sea lions can get aggressive. Yes, they can. There's a lot of them on the wharf. Why are you guys talking about sea lions? Ever seen a shark while surfing? No, I have yet to start surfing. I actually want to do a video about my experience of learning how to surf. So look out for a video like that. I don't know how soon that would be, but somewhere down the line. Everyone has to come up with their own spiritual journey. Yes, I agree, Jennifer. I know what you mean. Adele says, I know what you mean. Sometimes you get in the way of your own self. And awareness is the first step. And then, because you can't change it unless you're not aware of it. Unless you're aware of it, excuse me. All right? And so I'm aware of it. I might be getting in the way of myself, but then it takes effort to then change it, or the will to, or the want to change it. Are you a hiker? No, I don't really. I will go on hikes with friends, but I will not go on a hike by myself. Not something I do. I take urban hikes. I love urban hikes. I walk through downtown Santa Cruz. I walk to the wharf. That's my type of hiking. Our bar. I'm a preacher at our church. I may not have answers to all your questions, but I can share with you more about Christ's love. Actually, it requires more faith for an atheist to prove there is no. I completely understand that. I have questions that I know that will never be answered. And that's where the component of faith comes in. And I'm aware of that. And so I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know how to say your name though. Bar Coast. Less mosquitoes with urban hikes. Yep. I skateboard. I will like mountain biking. I think I will enjoy mountain biking. I do want to mountain bike eventually. Because there's so much activities in Santa Cruz. It's a hub for like skateboarding, surfing, mountain biking. It's just like a perfect place for that. And I've yet to try all these skating. Skating is the only one that I've it's not even street skating, it's surf skating, so it's like kind of like a blend of the two, surfing and skating kind of. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna answer these Twitter questions. Okay, so I am gonna answer the first one that Test Laps is asking me. Okay, so I'm gonna answer a few questions from him. Number one, can you tell us an average day of your van life, like almost hour to hour? Okay. So it changes. So when I'm in Santa Cruz, I wake up in the morning, I go to the coffee shop, and I work from there. I'm either writing my script or brainstorming. So so the first stage of my video making process is brainstorming. Right, I have to figure out what I'm gonna do, what the video is gonna be about, and it's a lot of me sitting down and just thinking. I don't even have a computer in front of me. I just have my phone to take down occasional notes if something comes to mind. And so I would spend about like 3 to 4 hours in the coffee shop. Then I'll have lunch, my one meal a day. That will take me about an hour and a half. And then I go back to work. I try to I'm always less productive after lunch. It's hard to like get back to the same mindset. And then after that, I stop working about like 5 or 6 sometimes. And it always changes. Sometimes I work late into the night. It's like when I'm editing a video, I can cram a lot of editing. I love editing. So I'll edit well into the night if possible. But in terms of the brainstorming and writing process, it's exhausting. It's hard for me to do that for hours on end. And so typically if I do a day of writing or brainstorming, I will take a break in the evening and spend time with friends or go on a walk. And so when it's a filming day, so that my schedule changes if it's a filming day. I know I have my script ready, I'm about to film, right? And so I'll go out. The weather in Santa Cruz has not been perfect. It's always cloudy in the morning, so I can't even start filming until so it's always cloudy in the morning, and then it gets sunny in the afternoon and at towards the evening. So that's the time for me to film, and so it cuts my window of time that I can film down to like only like 5 to 6 hours, and even then it's like sometimes I don't even film the whole time. So yeah, it really changes my day-to-day routine, but that's roughly how it's been going. Yeah, booster boards are pretty fun. They're a little scary when you go fast on them. Ocean Conservation Namibia. That's an interesting channel. I'll look that up right now so I can keep that. So I'll look at that. These guys run out of the beach in Namibia, Africa, and cut fishing lines, plastic ropes, and other things off the seal pups. Cool. How and where do you learn video editing? Self-taught. And a lot of like the technical stuff, like how do you cut like the how to use this program, I just look up videos. And I use DaVinci Resolve. Great program, by the way. It's a free program that's basically Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects put together, and color coding. So it's a powerful software. It's by Blackmagic Design, and they make like, they started out as a software company, I believe, and then now they have like cinema grade like hardware, like color correcting boards and colorists that in the film industry use, right? But the software is free for like. And most of the features are available. The only, and I don't even need the paid version, right? I'm not even gonna. There's no need for me to pay for that. So, it's an amazing program that's absolutely free. It's amazing how like some of these newer softwares. There's even like I make my the music in my videos. I use a DAW, like a digital audio workstation, that's also free, and I have a lot of VST plugins. A lot of my instruments that I use to make my soundtracks are free as well. There's just so much good free content out there. So there's really that aspect is easy to figure out. Okay, so next question is biggest regrets. I believe I mentioned earlier the biggest regret was not having a way to fit a bike. But at the same time, it's like, do I want to bike around, or walking works perfectly fine, because I park in a spot that is everything is walkable. I walk to get my groceries. I walk to the beach. Everything's great. So other than that, nothing really. Like I love the setup of my van. Really, it's just perfect for me. Top pro tips for van life. When it comes to stealth camping, what are your tips of stealth camping? Well, I say push your limits. Park in spots that you are kind of like not sure of. And the worst thing that can happen is someone leaves you a note or calls the cops, and maybe you'll get the worst case scenario is you get a rude awakening at night, right? Which I don't think will happen. I think people will not like call the cops like during the day where they see you, like they see the van or your car or whatever you're sleeping in. And I had a friend that had engine problems in Santa Cruz, and he had a couple of like notes, because he couldn't move his car. He was parked in a neighborhood, he couldn't move it, and he just got notes, and he was able to negotiate with the person that left the note, saying like, hey, my car's broken down, like it's like I can't move it, can you please like let me say I'm getting a mobile mechanic. And so and the person allowed him to stay. So people are really reasonable if you communicate with them. So my philosophy in general, this is a general philosophy, people are less scary up close, right? If you show them that you have nothing to hide, that you're being open and honest, right? People will see you as less as a threat, and so kind of adopt that philosophy with van life, right? It's your just be open and honest with everyone, right? And I think most everything else would go pretty smoothly from there. So number 4, can you upload videos more frequently on YouTube or post on Instagram? Yeah, it's YouTube. I'm not trying to make any excuses anyway. Like I'm trying to, yes, I want to try to upload on YouTube more frequently, and it just takes so long to make my videos. And I'm hoping that once I get the ball rolling more, because I've only started YouTube like legitimately like 3.5 months ago, so I'm still pretty new to this. So and so I'm trying to get the ball rolling. It's like as soon as I upload a video, I start thinking about what the next video is. I do have a whole list of ideas, but most of them I'm not working on. I scrapped. So it's video to video that I'm working on, and a lot of it's because I don't know how well videos do, and I have to put them out there to see how they do and see that feedback, and I know, oh, okay, people like this type of video. Okay, I'm gonna do more van related videos, right? And so I'm hoping to upload more content in the future, be more frequent. You know, like if it's possible, I'd love to be able to upload every 2 weeks, every week if possible. Every week is probably the most frequent I can possibly get a videos out. So yes, so bear with me as I upload only like every month. So that's what live streaming is for. I get to interact with you guys, and you guys get to watch the stream afterwards, and so that is a another way for me to be able to put out content and also be able to, you know, connect with people that can't come to the meetups in Santa Cruz in person. So Eric, you asked, you have an amazing number of views for being on YouTube for such a short time. Have you been monetized yet? Yes, I monetized off of that van tour video. I started jumping up. The requirement is like I need like 1,000 subscribers. That was the thing I didn't have. I didn't have 1,000 subscribers yet, but it was that video that got me to 1,000, and now it's like I think 28,000. Right? It's like that, and so. Thank goodness that video did so well, and I was able to get enough traction, and so, yeah. So a YouTuber needs a great mic setup and is a smartphone. Is a smartphone okay? Absolutely. Please do. If you want to do YouTube videos and you only have an iPhone, do it. Right? It's like that. That's and you can even use your phone mic, right? If you don't you know, it's a phone is absolutely perfect. If you know how to work lighting, if you know natural lighting, take natural lighting, use it for your advantage. Oh, it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing, like, I think most YouTube content is like indoors in people's bedrooms or indoor settings in the studio, right? And studio lighting, it would be better to invest in good lighting over a nice camera. Because if you have a nice camera and you don't have good lighting, then there's really no point. Because your video is still gonna look bad with the lack of lighting. So yes, absolutely, you can do videos with your phone. And the only advantage you have, so I'm using my A6400. That's the camera that I'm using, Sony. You know, you can have like blurry stuff, right? My hand's blurry, my background's slightly blurry. Like, that's the fancy stuff, right? I can change focal length. That stuff doesn't. Most of the things that you're gonna try to film is gonna be able to be accomplished with a phone camera. I upgraded my lens. I got a telephoto lens. Like, I got a 70 to 350. So that's a really tight, like a powerful telephoto lens. That is something you probably won't be able to accomplish with iPhone. And even then, it's very specialized. And for me, it's like I want to accomplish the specific style, and that's what justified me purchasing that telephoto lens. But other than that, cell phone is perfectly fine. YouTube could be the ultimate commune that you're seeking and make you great money at the same time. I agree. I think so too. You know what I should have done for the live stream? I should have done like a live chat feed. That I didn't. I thought about that, but I just didn't do it. Next stream I'll do it. Forever best friend, what is the topic of your next video? I am stealth camping in Los Angeles. My trip is gonna be this weekend, Friday through Sunday, and I am gonna see how sleeping 3 nights in LA are gonna be like in the van. I've never done it before, so. Don't you want a bigger and more comfortable camping car? No, not really. No, oh man, it's so much work to convert a big van, and I don't really need it. So it's just like, I don't think it's really worth it for me to put the time and effort to convert a bigger van when the smaller van is sufficient. I love the small van. It's great. It's great. MPG. I can get 38 miles per gallon. Believe it or not. on the highway. When I drive from here to Santa Cruz, from Southern California to Santa Cruz, I get 38 miles per gallon. And yeah, it's just I like the minimalistic lifestyle. You know, you can do a lot with a lot less than you think. Yes, NV200 is a perfect city camper van. I agree. Okay, next question. Okay, any book recommendations? I don't read a whole lot, so no, I don't have a whole lot of book recommendations. Number 8, do you have a hammock? No, I don't have a hammock. These are questions up here. What did you do with the Sprinter van? Okay, so we still have the Sprinter van. We're still selling it. We're still trying to sell it. If you're curious about the price, what van gets 30? My van. And if you drive like a snail and piss off the people behind you, yes, you can get 38 miles per gallon. I drive like 58 miles per hour. That's how I can get 38 miles per gallon. So if I drive like 70 or 75, it drops down to like maybe 31, 32 miles per gallon. So it's a significant drop. Okay. Do you feel lonely in your van sometimes? So I had bouts of loneliness, but it wasn't because of living in the van. It was mentality. Really, it's mentality. The mentality is really what determines that, the onset of loneliness, right? When I first moved back to the van this year, so the beginning of 2021, not beginning, excuse me, it was about May that I moved back. And my expectation for like being back in Santa Cruz, was high, right? It's like I had so many good experiences in Santa Cruz, and they would not met when I initially went back, and I felt really lonely because of that. But now I've gone into the routine, my day-to-day routine with the people I see regularly. I would still see people, and I would still feel lonely when I first moved to Santa Cruz, but I guess my mentality and my mindset shifted, and I was able to kind of readjust. And that from there, I don't feel lonely anymore. And it's loneliness is something that is, I would say, a very internal process. It's something that you can essentially reconcile with and be able to. At least for me, this is my experience, right? It's changing that mindset, because I can be around people all the time and still be lonely. It is completely, absolutely the mindset that caused me to feel lonely. Evan, do you drive a Nissan? Yes. The van I live in is a Nissan. Is the shower in WC water closet, like bathroom, water closet, convenient? The toilet, yes. So I use it every day to pee in. I don't poop in it. Is a lot of people in the comments of my video think I poop in it, and no, although I can, I don't. I usually use it in the morning when I wake up and I can't hold it to like go to a restroom outside my van. So that's how I primarily use my toilet. Okay, next question is by Sastrological. Is dating a challenge with van life, and do people you go on dates with think it's cool? Ever date another van life person? So, I have not been in a relationship for a very long time. Probably, it was high school. So it's like 7 years. A long time. And I haven't gone on dates. I haven't gone on a date since living in a van. I haven't, the closest things was like probably in college. I wasn't really in a full-blown relationship. And the reason why I have not been dating is because I guess I got kind of some bad experiences from like college. You know, I've been so invested in like getting in a relationship, trying to like date, and it put me in a mindset that led me down paths that would make me do really dumb, stupid decisions. And so from that, I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna focus on other things that I have more control of, and that would ultimately would give me a return in investment, so to speak, that would be more efficient than trying to force, because you can't force relationships, right? And I already, yeah, and my mindset is focus on my projects myself, and I will, and if the person comes, then the person comes. So buying an already converted van, I mean, it saves you a lot of work, right? So it's really, it's up to your situation, right? And for me, I was, the reason why I built it out was because I knew my dad and I would have some level of capability of converting the van ourselves. And it would be far cheaper, right, to convert it ourselves, to spend the time and effort ourselves as opposed to buying it. And so if you don't have the means to convert it yourself, then, and if you can save up to buy one, then yeah, I would say go for it. You know, the only downside is that you're not going to have one that's, you know, unless you buy a custom conversion, in which case you get what you want exactly. Because if you buy like a pre-made one that's like production grade, where like it's like, you know, like a Winnebago or whatnot, it's gonna have a lot of things that you realize that you're not gonna need, right? It's gonna have a shower. You know, you might find that maybe the shower is too bulky. You rather have it be a cabinet instead of a shower. So it's just things like that, right? You should date Vanlife, as no one else would understand you. No, I think there's definitely people that are not van lifers that are interested in van life and are sympathetic towards it because they're interested in it. So I imagine that's the dating part with the van is not. I think if I find the right person, they better be understanding of my situation, or else I don't think they'll be the right person, right? It's just, it wouldn't make sense for them to be like, oh, you're a great person, but you live in a van, so that's a deal breaker, right? That's like, no, right? That wouldn't make any sense. Okay. I am gonna move on to some questions from. Let's see. Oh God, I don't know how I'm gonna fit this. Oh. Okay. Hopefully I can see that question. Okay. Don't worry about dating. If it happens, it happens. Absolutely. I think that's the right mentality. Right? I can look at it, oh, I haven't dated someone in 7 years. Oh, I feel sad for myself. But no, it honestly, it's surprising. It didn't feel like 7 years because I've done so many things in those 7 years. Right? And so I felt, or excuse me, not 7 years. You know, like technically, I haven't been in a relationship in 7 years, but like, I haven't gone like on a date for like since like 2015. So yes, oh yeah, 6 years practically, same thing. All right, so it doesn't feel that long because you know I've been doing so many things on my own, and so I think that's the best way to go about it, best mentality. Anyway, Okay, these are questions from JJ. What happened to the Benz van that you built with your dad? The channel has a nice video tour of that, and then it goes without warning till the Nissan van you built. Is that Nissan van you talked about this indiscreet? Excuse me. In the Nissan video, you talked about being indiscreet, which makes me concerned that something happened to your Benz van. No, we still have the van. We're still selling it. We're not like in a hurry to get rid of it. We would like to get rid of it. That's the best, but we're looking for a big sum of money, and I think that's the biggest challenge, because we're looking for 150,000, 148. It's technically 150,000. It's a lot of money. I know. And so it's just waiting. We're not driving it. We're not using it. It only has like 230 miles on it, and we never driven it on a trip before. So we're keeping it pristine in the meantime until someone wants to have it and can afford it. Because we've had people that are interested in it, that are very interested, that have driven down. You know, we had one guy drive like 5 hours to like come take a look at it, and it's unfortunately he couldn't find any good financing options. Yeah. Anyways. Can we see the constructed shower looks like in the Nissan? Yes, I want to. I want to do a video on. Actually, I want to do a short video, like a YouTube short. It's just under 1 minute, like 60 seconds of me just setting up the van, right? Because there's not much to it. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna record that hopefully on Thursday. Yeah, 2 days from now. Okay, so. Jennifer asks, can you buy a DIY van conversion kit, but skills and tools are needed? Yeah, they're out there. If you look it up, like van, like a specific van model, and then kit, camper kit, then I'm sure you're gonna find whatever that's available out there. And I'm sure they're gonna show you how to do it, like the video of. Anyway. Our third question: lessons learned from having built 2 vans. It's very different to design a van for yourself, which was the Nissan. That was the first van we, and I think it was purpose built for my needs, what I wanted. Right? People thought like, why do you have a closet? It takes up so much room. Your clothes, right? I wanted it, right? That's what I want, and I don't care. It takes up so much room, right? And so. But then when you build a Sprinter, now the Sprinter was we were designing it with some potential person to like buy it, right? So we don't know who would buy it, and we were imagining that it would be maybe for a smaller family, right? For like parents and 2 kids, right? That was the kind of the the target client, or like a buyer. And so we have like a lot of seats in the back, lounge area, the cooking, AC, comfort, and stuff like that. But like if you do a custom conversion for someone that knows what they want, right? It's gonna be easier, because it's like you don't have to guess, because they want this, they want that, they don't want this, they don't want that, right? And so it's just really hard to design a van for just kind of like speculate what people want. Right, it's not my preferred way to design a vehicle, so I think that suffered in the design of the Sprinter, in my opinion, right? It wasn't as purpose built as like my van, and this is the problem you're gonna get with like when you buy like a pre-made van out anywhere, right? So that's the downside. Would you ever consider working for Levity Vans if they asked you? Clearly you have skill. It's interesting. I thought about that. And it's a possibility. It depends. I'll see. I have not asked them. If they need a builder, if they need a video guy, if they need a community manager. Those are all the things that I'm confident in doing. So, and I have experience with. So, okay. Next question is, for me personally, also would would be based upon my interest. I stumbled across your page after looking at Vanlife videos, and the first one prompted me to the battery power generation and consumption video. Well presented, by the way. Thank you. I wanted to do a van life to simply get out and see this great land more. And what concerned me is that I don't know that I have the aptitude to put it all together from scratch. I could afford an empty van and the components to make the van, I think. But creating the sound design for the top and bottom is the challenge. Any thoughts of being able to help others construct their own? Personally, from you, I mean. Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, right? Because if you want to do a van conversion, you would if you want it professionally done by me and my dad, you would have to bring the van down to Southern California. That's where our cabinet shop is located. And I can help out with the design process. And the thing is, it's just really pricey, right? If you do a small van conversion, like if you want an exact carbon copy of my NV200, it's gonna cost you about 50 or 60,000. That's like ballpark. What we're gonna charge you, and that's market price. That's what other custom van conversion companies are gonna charge you. You right? And so, you gotta pay that hefty price, and 50 or 60,000 including the van, right? And so with a new van, that is. And then you got you can do it yourself, and of course maybe you don't have the skill and knowledge to do as good of a van conversion yourself, but it's gonna save you a lot of money, right? And you get to learn a lot on the way. It's gonna be frustrating as heck, right? Because it's gonna be like, what the heck am I doing? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And you're going to be sitting there scratching your head thinking like, what do I do next? Right. And so that's part of the challenge. Right. But it's going to feel so rewarding if you convert your van yourself. Let's see. Yeah, I could build vans. I'm monetizing on my videos. I'm making money on my videos, and I enjoy making these videos very much. Right? And if YouTube doesn't work out, I can definitely build vans for a living. But in the meantime, I like to do videos. I love doing this, right? And I'm getting in the this is my first live stream. I'm trying to get into the motions and figure this thing out, but it's fun. It's fun. This is really fun to be able to do this. So if I can have fun doing what I love, then I would say this YouTube idea is something I'm going to pursue. It's going to be my priority. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna do more questions. Wow, it's already 5 o'clock. So for me, so that's going for 2.5 hours. All right, so I want to get through all the questions that I've been sent. I don't have that much left, so I'm gonna get through all of them. What would your dream van look like? I've thought of like, if I do get in a relationship and we do want to travel together, then a Sprinter would probably be nice. Yeah, I'd probably design my own Sprinter. But in the meantime, my dream van is the van I have now. I don't want another van. Honestly, it's just perfect for what I have. So. Teddy says, you're doing a great job. Very informative. Thank you. I hope you guys are all enjoying the stream. I hope this stream is serving you guys well and answering your questions well. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Again. Okay. Um, let's see here. Okay. All right. Aja. Uh, with all the modifications that you made to your van, especially when you mentioned tapping into the car's alternator for power generation in your most recent video, have any of those changes complicated regular vehicle maintenance at the dealership, or otherwise negatively affected the performance of your van? Thank you for considering this question. No. I take it to the dealership. They don't say anything. You know, I do oil changes. My dad helped. I do the oil changes now. Whenever I come down, I did the oil change from my van like last Friday or something like that. And nope, nothing. The tapping into the alternator is literally, there was no modifications. I didn't drill any holes. I just fed the wire through the firewall of the car. The wall that's in between the engine and the driver's seat and and so I could easily just undo that. There was no permanent modifications. The only permanent modifications to the van are cutting the hole for the ceiling fan, and technically everything can be ripped out, not cleanly though. There'll be a lot of residue and adhesives gluing all like the vinyl, and I didn't drill any holes to mount the cabinets. It was all mounted through the existing the holes for like the D-rings that the cargo vans have. So no, it drives perfectly fine. It has some weight on it, but that's what a cargo van is for, is to drive around with some weight. As a van lifer was, Teddy asked, as a van lifer, what is your biggest challenge and how do you overcome that? I feel like most of the problems I've figured out. So, when I think about van life, I see the benefits more than the downsides for me. Right? It's not having a place to like hang out and chill and relax easily. That's like when I was in San Francisco, it was kind of like that. But I would be out of the van most of the time and working or being with friends, so it's like, it wasn't a huge problem. And then especially in Santa Cruz, I have a home base. That church I go to, that's my home base. Like I know the people there. The people are familiar with me there. I know, so a lot of the downsides I would say are overcome by my connections in Santa Cruz. Right? And again, like, this is city dwelling, full timing in the city, not traveling around a van life. Right? That's I think that's a big part of why people want to do van life, is because they want to travel around. Sleeping in cars can be illegal in parts of the EU. Well, it's illegal in all those cities I'm parking in Santa Cruz. But that's where the stealth component comes in. So, and plus there's people that sleep in their cars in the city and they still technically get away with it even if the police knows them, because it's during COVID, they're not gonna kick people out because that changing policy. So. Oh, hey, Asia. So Asia, right? With the... Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking the question. In your van life journey, have you come across any challenges being an Asian American, or heard of any challenges from other people of color? No. I mainly get people to say like, oh, that's different. Not a lot of... Because it's not a... I don't think there's a huge like Asian American population that does van life. So it's a little different, but I wouldn't say there's any challenges. No. Why am I doing van life? To save money? Yep. That's the main reason. I do think in the U.S. some cities are hostile to van life, not to ethnic backgrounds. Be stealth and clean. Yes. Yes. You just have a clean exterior and people will bother you less, hopefully. It won't save you from everything. But it's worked out well for me. Okay, next question is by Space Master 13. Do you see yourself doing this for the next 10 years, or even forever? No. I don't plan that far into the future, but I don't anticipate being in a van for 10 years is a long time. I don't know. 5 years is a long time too. My life's changed year to year. It's really hard to guess. Can I do it for 5 years? Oh yeah, without a doubt. It was easy doing it for a year and a half, cumulatively, like living in a van. Oh yeah, I can do it. I can do it indefinitely. There's no part of it that really gets old, in my opinion. So, do I want to be in the van? That's the question. Do I want to be in the van in 10 years? I probably want a house. I probably want an actual place and keep the van to use recreationally. So, that would be my answer. Are you saving money towards something specific? Nope. Just saving money. Saving money for the sake of saving money, because you never know what you're going to need to spend it on, right? What would be difficult for some people living where the weather is very cold, hot, or constantly wet? Yep, that's why van living in California is great, because the weather is great and you don't have to pay for the expensive rent. So win-win-win. Why are you not uploading more videos? Because my videos take a long time. I want to upload more frequently. I'm still getting in the flow of doing YouTube videos, right? Because my lifestyle has changed a lot, because now it's like, oh, I'm actually making money for YouTube. Now I can now this is something I'm going to invest a lot of time in now. And so I'm still kind of getting used to that, and I'm hoping to, get more content out for you guys. So thanks, Eric. I do want to answer all of these questions that everyone submitted. I've been streaming for 3 hours, but only live for 2.5. So, but that was fast. I wasn't anticipating actually going this long. Anyways, okay, next question is, curious about your cell phone provider and how you maintain internet service. Do you require any extra device for either? Nope, nothing special. It's just your standard major cell phone provider. If I wanted to, let's say I thought about this in depth. If I wanted to live stream from my van, I would have to get a 5G hotspot. It would probably be the most viable, right? And it would be fun, right? I'm sitting in my van, I'm live streaming from my van. Like that is like, I think that would be really funny. That would be really cool. And so right now, for now, I don't have anything special in terms of cell phone provider. But I am considering a 5G dedicated hotspot, which is like a little like device that you install. That you just like plug in power, and it's basically it's the same tech that you would find in a phone that had 5G capability. So yeah, maybe streams in the van in the future. But in the meantime, I have to do it in a landlocked location. Maybe I missed it. What's your daily job, if you don't mind? I mean, it's changed. Right now, it's I'm just helping my parents out remotely with their business, and now YouTube is sustainable for me. I'm making an income that can sustain my my month to month expenses and more. Really, it's and so and so now YouTube is my main job. So thanks to you guys. Thank you so much. NM1989. How do you know how to do all the things you do when you upgrade a van? I'm telling you, it's the power of self-education. I tell you, it's like you can teach yourself so many things. Of course, it helped because my dad knew some of this stuff and learning the practical side, right? But there was a lot of stuff that I learned by myself that he didn't help me on. And so I'm hoping that I can provide that help to other people, right? That they don't have a dad that knows, or any sort of person that's close to them that knows how to do this stuff, right? So I would love to help people out in if literally any question, right? Like I want to answer and help other people convert their vans. So with 30K subscribers, it is not the subscribers that make you money, it is the views. Right, and so you don't look at the numbers of the subscribers, and as long as your videos get picked up by the algorithm and get views, you're gonna be making money. Okay, next question is by Mike Thomas. How long did it take you to do all the modifications to your van? Cost, if you don't mind me asking. Yeah, so it took us 16 weekends, so 4 months, working Friday evenings, so 2.5 days a week for 16 weeks straight. And so it cumulatively like 300 hours of work across me and my dad. So 2 people, 300 hours of work, and the cost. So now this is a little tricky. The cost, $5,000 to $6,000. That's the cost. But that's not the whole picture, right? You got to have the equipment. You got to have the facility. You got to have, you're not looking, like if you're seeing like the reason why people charge charge like a van conversion like mine, 50 or 60,000, including the van, is because it's so labor intensive and there's so much work involved, right? And so if you want to do it yourself and you have the capability, you have the facility, you have the tools, $5,000 to $6,000 for a small van, not a Sprinter. I'm talking like an NV200, my small van. Okay, I'm gonna speed up how I answer all these questions. Oh, it's bleeding over. Okay, Yavani, I love your story. Will you clarify the order of things? You and your dad built a van and sold it. Was that before or after building your minivan? And was that before, after the van? How is Santa Cruz? Okay. So the small van, NV200, that came first, 2018. We bought it July 4th. I finished the conversion in October. Too much details. Just know that small van 2018, big van 2020. The big van we still have. We haven't sold it yet. We want to sell it. I want to keep my small van for now. I might sell it. I don't know. For now I'm gonna keep it. So hopefully that makes sense. Why not keep the van? Why not keep the van? We don't need it. We go on camping trips. We go tent camping. We don't need a fancy, right? People want a fancy stuff, right? Because it's maybe they want to cross country, they go across country, and yeah. But we don't do those trips. My dad doesn't have enough time to take off, not much time off of work. So we go like short, like weekend camping trips, and we just go tent camping. So we have absolutely no need for that big van. Have you had meetups since your third video? No, not yet. The first one is going to be September 16th in Santa Cruz at Levity Vans. September 16th, 5:30. So that's just under like 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now. Right? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Just over 3 weeks. I subscribed to your channel, but you haven't popped up on my timeline until this question posted. I'm excited to see where Vanlife takes you. Thank you. Okay, next question is by Nokchad. Non-Chad. Where where do you shower? When I was in San Francisco, I showered at the gyms, and now in Santa Cruz, it's in my van. In my little sink, and I don't shower all the time, every day. Wet wipes get me through. So anyway, what do you do for an address? Friends, it's if I get something Amazon, it's Amazon Locker. If it's not from Amazon, then I get friends' address and I mail it to them and I go pick it up. And I can get a PO, but I'm too cheap to spend on a PO box. What are your average monthly costs? And this is Catherine. Catherine, what is your average monthly cost? What have been your biggest challenge so far? Food. I don't drive around. I keep my car parked all the time, so I don't spend a lot on gas. So it's mainly food, and I paid off the van, so it would have been car payments. That would have been the most expensive. So it's under 1,000. My monthly expense, everything, right? No, it would, if it car payments, like cell phone bill, insurance, food, it would be like maybe 1,200 at the most. And if I eat out all the time, it would be easily over 1,000, just over 1,000. But now that I cook more, I can get everything like close to 500 or 600 if I'm really scrappy, if I'm really like on it, like, right? It's great. Anyways. Alexander Zilla. Hi, I am a tattoo artist from Melbourne, Australia, and I recently subscribed to your channel. I love your chill vibes and hard work ethics. When I visit San Francisco in the future, I would love to hang out. Yes, absolutely. Please let me know. Best way to get in contact with me is through email. Email me at storiesfromavan@gmail. You can send me a DM on Instagram. I just don't check Instagram very efficiently, but I check it. I will eventually get to you, even if you DM me on Instagram. So you can do that too. If I come to Melbourne, Australia, that would be awesome too. Yes, I've never been to Australia. I would love to go there. Okay. All right, next question. Next question is, what are the best 3 things about living in a van, and what are the worst 3? Okay, best things. First one is being able to be whatever I want whenever. I don't have to worry about a lease. I don't have to worry about roommates or housing. I don't have to move in and out. Just being wherever the heck I want whenever. 2 is being independent. The independence, right? I think this all stems from the same thing. Like, it's the freedom, right? And it's It's like it gives me so much flexibility for my day-to-day schedule. If I want to see a friend in San Francisco, I just drive out there, spend a couple nights there, right? And then I just come back to Santa Cruz. So like freedom would be second one. I mean, first one was kind of like freedom too. Freedom. Those are my three. I'm trying to think. Lower cost of living, right? Saving money. That's obviously one. Freedom, saving money, and being able to tell people I live in a van because people find it very entertaining. So that's my third. All right. Three worst things. This is hard because I honestly I'm not lying when I say that there's not a lot of downsides. Obviously, it's like, I can't shower easily if I wanted to. I can't, but I've worked around it. I've gotten used to it, right? You readjust, and those things that would annoy you initially become just every day and just becomes the norm. So those three worst things that I might have had have just kind of faded away, if that makes sense. Because the benefits just outweigh. It's just like the benefits just outweigh and dawn over the negatives. But yeah, just not having a place for to host people. I can't have a place for people to come over and hang out. In which case, I replace it by hanging out with them, either at their house or we go out. And the third worst thing is, the address. Mailing stuff is kind of tricky sometimes. Yeah. Because it's hard because I don't want to like ask friends all the time and have them mail. But like, so I would say that's the third worst thing. It's like having mail stuff. If I, when I was working, I would put down the address for my parents' place in Southern California, and the employer didn't really care as long as there was an address associated with you, even though it was like 7 hours away from my workplace, right? It doesn't matter. Anyway, I am in Perth. That's the west side of Australia, right? What is the best neighborhood in San Francisco to park for Vanlife? Not downtown. Not north of downtown. Like even like Russian Hill, North Beach. North Beach? Is it North Beach? Like near the places like closest like Fisherman's Wharf. Don't park there. Don't park in Soma. Don't park in. Just park in the neighborhood as places. The Richmond is okay. Any of the neighborhoods that are like away from the northwest part of San Francisco would be any of those places would work. Good luck on your vids. Keep it up. Thank you, unknown base. What about getting general delivery at the? Yeah, I've thought about getting a PO box. Yes, that's definitely an option. Yeah, I use Amazon Locker. Richmond or Ocean Beach. Yep, those places are perfectly fine for stealth camping if you have people that don't call the cops on you. Okay, I think I'm gonna answer just these questions, and then that will be it. Okay, science is fun. I'm considering van life, but my concern is sex life. I think sex in van is a challenge, and people won't be turned off if I bring them to my van for sex. What is your opinions or experience on this? And I like how there's actually two replies on here. So like this is similar to like how my answer to like my dating, right? I just haven't dated in a while, so I don't have to worry about it, right? I worry on myself, and that's the thing. If you focus too much on your sex life, it's more of a You know, you can choose to value that if you'd like, but it's I think it's something that you know. So if you okay, so let me answer your question. So you're asking me like what to do about it. So I have a friend that brings people to his vans. He plays it off, and you know, it works, right? It's not it's doesn't even have to be a nice van, right? Um, and so I'm sure it's a challenge, but there's always ways to work around it. And if you frame it the right way, then it'll be fine. I hope hopefully the other person is understanding. And I like what Robert is saying. I mean, I love the discourse in this. uh, so yeah, that's my answer. All right, so I'm just gonna answer a couple more questions in the chat, and then I think I'm gonna call it for the stream. Again, thank you so much for being here and watching this. Um, so where do you take your NV200 for maintenance? I maintain it myself. I change the oil. I change the oil when I come back home here and to my parents' place because you know they have an oil pan. My dad takes it to the mechanic, I think, to get rid of the oil. And we know how to do it. It's not that hard. And we just rotated the tires for it too. So I do take it to any Nissan dealership because there was like a recall for the van. There was something to do with like a software recall, and I had to do that in order to renew my van. So I took it to the dealership and they fixed it there. But other than that, all the regular maintenance I do myself with my dad. Excuse me, I need to blow my nose. All vans, four-wheel drives, campers, and have all inflated in price massively since COVID. Yep, some more than brand new. Yeah, since everyone here can't leave the states, serious lockdowns. People are holidaying in the states. Absolutely, it's causing a craze of van life. Um, what type of laptop do you have? I have a Omen. Let me Omen laptop. It's a gaming laptop, and it's worked really well. Great for editing, great for live streaming. It's great. I love it, and it's a small little laptop, 15-inch screen. Absolutely, and it has AMD chip. Because AMD is killing it and doing way better than Intel. So, yep. Oh, what is general delivery? What is that? You get a package slash mail delivered to a local post office and pick it up free of charge. Really? Really? If that's true, then, huh? I will keep. Eric, you're giving me a lot of knowledge here. Um, my mom worked at the post office before. She should know. I would ask her. Um, maybe she knows about this. Okay. You've been here in the. Oh, it's not for me. Sex can be like drugs. Focus on having a good time and enjoying other company. Focus on that, and it will happen from time to time, and you'll be happier. Yep, I totally agree, Stony. Anyone turn off by coming to your van does not get your lifestyle. Move on. Absolutely, I agree. Um, buy a used smaller van instead of a newer one. I don't know if that was applied to me. Um, yeah, used van prices are insane right now. Um, Okay, so I think that is gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for being on the stream. I really appreciate you guys being here. Uh, Good morning, Vanlife. I'm watching from the Philippines. Thank you for joining. And if you haven't seen any parts of the stream, I'm gonna upload the stream so you guys can watch it. And again, thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate all your support. So, all right. I'll hope to see you guys at the meetup. If not, then I hope to do another live stream not too long from now, and see you guys then. All right. All right.